Hello and welcome back to another episode of Ruining Your Childhood.
Welcome back to another episode of Ruining Your Childhood, one sculpt at a time. Today, once again, we're going to be taking a deep dive beneath the waves, tromping through the jellyfish fields of Bikini Bottom to bring to life one of the most iconically dumb, lovable, and quotable characters of the entire show. That's right, so today we're going to be sculpting the one and only Patrick Star. For me, Patrick was always one of my favorite characters in the show. The amount of one-liners this guy had me literally cackling as a kid. One of my favorite scenes is when he's blaming SpongeBob for eating his chocolate. Then he hits you with that classic, "Now I'm gonna starve." And then it immediately cuts down to that horrific HD close-up of his stomach. So that's pretty much what we're gonna be doing today. But now that we have the basic form of his stomach, we're just gonna go ahead and pop that in the oven really fast. That way we don't accidentally crush it. It has been like 90 degrees in my studio, so it's pretty hard to work with the clay right now. It's very soft. But with that chunk back from the oven, I did go ahead and wrap around a piece of Super Sculpey Firm on the outside of it. This is gonna give me a little bit more control and actually allow me to add some detail. And then on top of that, I go ahead and smash that little cone shape of clay. And when I'm done fully blending that in, we have a pretty good basic structure of his head and body. We are just gonna be bulking out his midsection a little bit more, so I'm gonna be slapping on these little dank nugs of clay on the front. And after blending that in with my dirty phalanges, we have ourselves a pretty good starting point, and we can go ahead and start adding some facial features. Went ahead and took a ball stylus, pressing in some eye sockets that I'm then going to be filling with some pre-baked eyes that I made off camera just by taking a ball of clay, pre-baking it, then slicing it in half. Once I had those eyes in their position, we could go ahead and cram those bad boys in. Did a little bit of reshaping on the head, then we can move on to his lower eyelids. I went ahead and took a couple thin skin flaps of clay, laying those underneath the eye. I then began to blend everything in with my silicone sculpting tool. Once we had it all blended and smoothed out, we could go ahead and start on his upper lids. For this, I took a couple small rolled out bits of clay that I'm going to be laying over top of his eye, slicing off those little excess bits. Once I did the same exact thing for the other side, we could just go in and start blending that in. We're going to be making the upper lid kind of small. I want him to almost be like looking up in the air, laughing. I feel like the way he laughs is one of his most iconic things. That and his scream. His scream was pretty funny too. Anyway, now that we're pretty much done with his eyelids, I could then go in just start adding a little bit of detail before moving down to his mouth. I start off by establishing where the corners of his mouth are going to go. Then from there, I could go in with a very small ball stylus to start to build up his cheeks. After I had both sides completed, I then go in with this wedge-shaped sculpting tool to start giving him his upper lip. And now that I've unintentionally sculpted Shane Gillis, we can go ahead and open up his mouth a little bit by taking my X-Acto knife, just cutting out this chunk of clay. Once we have the insides all cleared out, I just go in with the back side of my X-Acto knife to blend it all out and make it all smooth. I was pretty happy with how that was looking so far, so we can now bulk up his cheeks a little bit. We'll be taking these little maggots of clay, sticking them onto the side of his face. And once I was happy with the placement of those cheek maggots, we could go in with a variety of sculpting tools to blend those in. Now his lower lip was looking a little sad, so we're going to go ahead and bulk that up using a rolled out bit of clay that I lay on the bottom section of his mouth. After slicing off the excess bits, we could go in with those same sculpting tools, blending it all in. And with that, the outside of our face orifice is looking pretty good, so it's time to start adding his inner mouth details. Starting with his tongue, I went ahead and pinched off a small loaf of clay that I shape into, well, tongue shape, and then I'm going to be shoving that to the back of the throat. And using my very small ball stylus, I'm going to be adding some tongue detailing before moving on to his tiny little buck tooth. I made this cute little rock chomper off camera just by taking some translucent clay, forming it into a tooth shape, and then pre-baking it. But now that we have his tiny little buck tooth shoved into its proper position, I do a little bit of mouth refining. I felt like his mouth was a little too wide, so I went ahead and closed it a little bit. But with the mouth done, we could go ahead and start adding some of those glorious chins of his. I'm just going with this cone-shaped silicone sculpting tool to start adding these little lines that we're going to be adding underneath his chin. At first I wasn't really sure how many chins I wanted to give him, and then I decided to give him all the chins. So he's at least going to have 3. I was realizing he was looking a little too skinny, so it's time to give him some man titties. I'm sorry. I went ahead and took these little flaps of clay that we are going to be building up his saggy pectorals. So once I had those chunks of clay into their proper position, I go in with my dirty phalanges to blend it all in. Then followed up with a silicone sculpting tool just to add a few more wrinkles here and there, just to make those chest flaps a little bit more prominent. But with that, his head and upper chest is complete, and so now it's time to move down and work on that belly. Like I said, one of my favorite scenes is when they zoom in on his stomach after he just accused SpongeBob of eating his own chocolate. His chocolates, his delicious chocolates. Charlie Bucket. What am I saying? Where was I? What am I talking about? Oh yeah, his belly. His belly in the chocolate scene. Basically what I was trying to say is I'm just going to be trying to make it reminiscent of that scene. So after I established where his belly button is and give it a little bit of belly button detail, I just go along the side of his belly to kind of making it stick out a little bit more from his love handles. And then from there I just go in with that same sculpting tool to start adding a little bit of wrinkles and folds extending from his waistline. Technique I like to use to make skin look a little bit more like leathery. I take a ball stylus and very gently just wipe it across the surface. I feel like it gives a pretty good look. But with the first layer of detailing done, now we could go in with this texture tool to start adding some little bumps and ridges all over top of the body. And I actually made these texture tools quite a while ago. If you're wondering what they're made of, it's actually just dried up gum. No, I'm just kidding. It's Milliput. It's a 2-part epoxy putty that I just kind of sculpted, and then using a ball stylus, I press these little divots in, and it gives it a nice bumpy texture if you're doing like reptilian type things, or in this case, a starfish. I also use the same tool on my Squidward sculpture, which you should check out if you haven't seen yet. But after a few more final touches with that silicone sculpting tool, his body's looking pretty good, so we can go ahead and pause there and move down to his pants. To start things off, I took a flattened out strip of clay that I sliced off one end so I get a nice clean edge that I'm going to be wrapping around his torso. Once I was happy with the position and connect it in the back, I went ahead and slice off that little excess bit. And then I just go around with my dirty phalanges, giving it a vigorous rub down to make sure it all blends in together. And with it all nice and smooth, I can then go in with the back side of my X-Acto knife, start to draw a line all the way around his torso to kind of separate the lower section of his pants from his waistband. So once I had that line drawn in, I was pretty happy with how he was looking, but then I realized he had all these little freckles all over him. So we're naturally just going to make those moles. And so I went ahead and rolled out these tiny little balls, and then we're just going to be pressing all over his body. Kind of just trying to base this off of how it looks like in the cartoon. And once we had those established, we could then go ahead and add his arms. Oh, won't you look at that? Thank you, mysterious pair of hands. And if you're curious on how I made these arms, don't worry, I make them the exact same way as I make the legs. So I will be showing you that later, but once I had those arms in their proper position, I then go in with my ball stylus to blend that into the rest of the torso. But while I go on my blending spree, I just want to say thank you guys so much for checking out the video so far. I really hope you guys are enjoying it. And if you are, I'd really appreciate it if you can hit that like button, and apparently there's a hype button now. So if you want to slap that one while you're down there, that'd be cool too. And if you're new around here, definitely consider subscribing. We have lots of fun. So definitely do that. Anyway, now that I'm done with my spiel, we're just going to be adding some texture to his arms. And after rubbing on that texture, he's looking pretty good, so we could go ahead and pop it into the oven for its first bake. And with Patrick back from the oven and looking as baked as he does in the cartoon, we could go ahead and start adding his legs. Went ahead and pre-drilled some holes in the bottom of this, which I'm going to be filling with some pieces of armature wire. And once I got those wires firmly inserted into his torso, we could go ahead and start building up those legs. Now his arms and legs are actually pretty much made the exact same way, except his legs are just a little bit shorter. So starting off with a ball of clay, I just roll it out and give it a vigorous rub down until I have these nice cone shapes. Once I had a nice dual set, we could go ahead and slice off the back end, and then we're going to slide it up that little piece of armature wire. I do this nice and slow, that way I don't accidentally misshapen the legs. And then from there I could then just go in with my fingers, blending those legs into his torso, doing a little shaping on the legs along the way. And with his little stubby legs in place, we could go ahead and start building up those pant legs. Or short legs, as I like to call them. I actually don't really know what they're called. Are they the same thing on shorts as they are on normal pants? Pant legs? Short legs? Anyway, all I'm doing is I'm taking some flattened out strips of clay that I'm wrapping around his thick thighs, slicing off all those little excess bits, and of course I then go in with my fingers to blend all that in. And with his shorts complete, all we need to do now is add the same texture that we did for his upper body down on his legs. And for this, I'm just going to be using that same exact tool that I was using before, that texturing tool that I made. And with that, his legs are looking pretty good, so we could go ahead and pop it in the oven for its final bake. And with Patrick back from the oven baked to a crispy perfection, we could go ahead and start the painting process. And of course, I like to start things off by painting the entire thing with an initial base coat of its initial base coat colors, and for him it is going to be quite easy. He only has a few different colors that we have to worry about. Starting with his main color, and of course it's that soft pale pink that we all know and love. And I'm kind of going to be going for more of a mid-tone instead of his actual true color. We'll get into that a little bit later on as to why. But how I made this color was I mixed up a few different ones here, and starting with blood red, then I mixed in some bone white, some pure white, and I finished it off with that sun yellow just to give it a little bit more warmth. But now that we have that base coat completed, we can then go ahead and start on the inside of his mouth. The main portion of his throat is going to be this kind of darker red color that I mixed up, and then I really just go blender mode on the back of his mouth with the paintbrush. And to finish everything off, I go over his tongue with a single pass of that blood red. As for his eyes, I'm going to be using an off-white color called bone white. I feel like this gives it a little bit more of a natural look when it comes to eyes versus just straight up white. I do kind of water it down a little bit, that way I can do a couple passes over top, that way I get a nice smooth finish. And with that, the main portion of him is done, so all we need to do is finish off with his shorts. For this, I just used a couple of different colors, a lime green, some of that sun yellow, and a little bit of intermediate green. After giving it a couple coats and letting it fully dry, we are done with the base coats, and we can now start making this bad boy look more alive. And for this, of course, we are going to be using just a variety of different washes, starting with a red wash that I actually have a little bit thicker than what I normally would, and I'm just going to be really focusing on his cheeks and underneath all of his rolls, pretty much anywhere on the face where a lot of blood might sit. And then just for the rest of the body, I'm going to be going over top of it with the same exact color, just way more watered down, and really just to let those details pop a little bit more. But now that we have this sunburnt looking Patrick and he is completely dry, we are going to then go over top of it with a very watered down blue wash. And we're pretty much just going to be focusing on his under eyes and his lip and chin area. This kind of helps gives the impression of stubble and also just makes his eye bags look a little bit more tiresome. We're not going to be setting this on for too long. We're really just gonna be brushing it on and then quickly dabbing it off, and the whole point of this is more just to kind of stain the paint underneath. We really just want a hint of blue. We don't really want it to pool up in those details. But while I let the face dry, I'm going to be using that same blue to draw in some veins in the stomach. I also used a little bit for an illusion of chest hair and a little bit above his belly button. I was pretty happy with how that was looking, so we're going to let that fully dry before going over top of it with a dry brush of a very light pink. Now this is kind of the main reason why I painted it as more of a mid-tone, because I am going to be going over top of it with this dry brush, and this is more of his true tone, I would call it. I also feel like this is the part of the painting process where it actually starts to look more realistic and more alive, because it's taking all those colors underneath and blending them together and making it feel like they're almost underneath the surface of the skin. But with his skin done, we could go ahead and go on to his eyes. For this, I'm just going to be using that same red wash, just very watered down. I'm just going to do a quick pass over top of the eyes, and then I'm going to finish it off by going over top of that with a white wash just to kind of wet blend everything together. And I feel like it gives a nice, cool little marble effect, making it look like there's veins in the eyes. Now in the cartoon, he just has black pupils most of the time, but sometimes he has a variety of different colors. He sometimes has brown eyes, and sometimes he has blue or green. So I just went with a very dark blue. I felt like it was a good contrast between his very pink body. But I went in with some ball styluses, starting with a bigger one with the dark blue, and then I finished it off with a very small ball stylus for that black pupil. And to finish things off, we're going to be moving down to his shorts, starting off with a dark green wash just to make those wrinkles and folds pop a little bit more. Also highlighting those seams and cracks. And once I was done with that and let it fully dry, we could then go ahead and start painting in those purple flowers that are on his shorts. I really wasn't sure the best way to go about it, so I just kind of free-handed them on, and actually really liked how they turned out. And with that, that pretty much completes the painting process, so we could go ahead and start finishing it up by making his eyes and mouth glossy. And for this, I'm going to be using some UV resin. Just go ahead and make a little dab in the center of the eye. Then I use this toothpick to kind of spread that around. Then I go over top of it with my UV light, blasting some heat into those corneas. After about 10 to 15 seconds, his eye is looking quite glossy, so we're going to be doing the exact same thing for the other side. And with that and a little bit of off-camera detailing, we're onto those JCPenney glamour shots. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and also leave a comment down below of who you would like to see me sculpt next. I'll see you next time.